it's been going every single month since. And we've been finding more and more studios have been forming. So I think we knew of maybe only 5 when we first started, and now it's approaching 50, and there's probably even more. So yeah, over 50 locally created games that have been showcased. So we had no idea that this many games were even in production. People have been hiding in nooks and crannies. Like a team of 5 is in Winter Park for some reason, and then there's a team of 10 that's off in Sanford, and all these people have just been here and just didn't know. They all kind of felt like they were in their own little island. But we found all these different projects, and they've all been bettered because they had this connection. And 330% increase in monthly attendance in just 1 year. We've just had a lot of growth, a lot of excitement that came. And with this, we also found that there was success in the production of people's projects. There were several Kickstarters that were put together, and they became successful when they came to Indienomicon. Just the amount of support that would happen would kind of push them over the edge. So there are a lot of successful Kickstarter projects just by coming into that community. And also there's something called Steam Greenlight, where you have to get enough yes votes in order to become sellable in this marketplace, and a lot of people will hit that mark too. And coming up this Saturday, the 6th, at the Melrose Center, we're going to have our 2nd annual expo. So we're going to have several game studios all showcasing what they've been building over the past year. These games are fun. They're virtual reality, they're tablet, they're desktop, they're all different types for all different age groups. You're going to find something that you're going to enjoy, and you're going to be able to help these developers. You can tell them what you like, what you don't like, and you can play. There'll be something for everybody. And it's going to be held at the Melrose Center, which is in downtown Orlando, the 2nd floor of the library. And the event is 12 to 5. It's open to the public, all ages. We want to see all of you guys there. And the meetups that I was talking about happen on the first Thursday of every month. So, beyond this expo, we encourage everybody to attend. This is open to everybody. Whether you are just a fan of playing games, you just like them, to play casually, whether you are a developer or you aspire to be a developer, we want to see you guys there. So the first Thursday of every month. It's free, always. It's family friendly, full of awesome. You can go to indienomicon.com. We want to see you guys engage. So tweet us, join us on Facebook, and then also...
I need to hurry you along there.
Okay, yeah, and also, if you want to support us with your dollars, you can go to patreon.com/Indienomicon. Everything that we put together was out of pocket. We put it together, and so even if you want to put $1 in, that would help us out.
Kunal, I'm going to have to stop you so we can move on to the Q&A part.
All right, great, because we're done.
Yep. All right, good. So if I can ask you guys, if you have a question, please raise your hand, and we will bring you the microphone so that way the people that are watching us online right now can hear you, and it goes into the record. First question is right here.
So I've been really impressed. I had no idea about this indie game development activity that was going on here, and what I've seen has been really impressive. It seems like it takes a lot of time and talent to develop these games, and I've seen a lot of them presented, and they're very cool. But I have not seen in the presentation a path to monetize the work. And so I just want to know, what's the end game for a lot of these developers? How can you describe? I'm very naive about this. So how do they monetize what they're building? And I mean, is there a group of them, like a large group of them, that are just doing this as enthusiasts, or are all of them really trying to make a go of this and become like an independent game development company?
Well, I think that it depends on the developers. A lot of them have monetized their games. There was a guy who was a UCF student, and he was a computer science student. He'd been working on this game for 2 to 3 years, and he finally released it on Steam. He showcased it at Indienomicon, and it got greenlit on Steam. And he's made enough money on that one game to he's quit school and he's focusing just on game development, and he's making a career of that right out of school.
So Steam, that's got to be, that's kind of what I'm talking about. What's that? What does that mean?
Steam is a PC-based computing platform. It's also Mac and Linux, but it's an online storefront for games, and it's probably, I'd say, the most popular storefront.
For indies. So, just like that there's the...
Please use the mic.
Just how there's the Apple iTunes Store, there's Google Play. So Steam is generally for your desktop computer, and that's where a lot of games are purchased. And he presented, got it to market, made some money.
I'll just add that I just read yesterday that Steam has over 100 million users.
Yeah, it's huge.
And it's been around for well over 10 years. I mean, it's well established too.
Really? There we go.
People are intimidated by computer games.
What other kinds of services or support, I should say, as opposed to services, support do you give to the developers so that, I'm obviously not a geek.
Well, you got a beard. So.
I've got a beard, but that's about it. But, what other support do you give developers to help make them successful and get them to the end?
Sure. So it takes a lot of things beyond just the actual production of the game. It takes artists, designers, programmers, all these different things to make a functional product. But people need marketing, promotion, PR, connections to publishers, connection to the platforms. They need exposure. All those kind of things was part of the aim for Indienomicon. Because on our own, if we have to handle all those things, it becomes too cumbersome. And so we bring any kind of connections that we have to that, and then the developers amongst each other.
Can I follow up on that one? Yeah. Another success story we have is one of our indie studios that came to speak with us. They had a space-based game, and we actually introduced them to some people at NASA, and they've been getting support from NASA and feedback on their product. So in the end, their game has become a lot more successful, a lot more well-built because of a connection that we brought.
I know you guys had the indie Space Jam. Are there any other niche gaming areas that you guys are trying to promote, or is it just whatever kind of pops up? Or
we've had some discussions that a lot of benefits came when we combined the game industry with the space industry. Another niche we were looking at is sports. So or even board game night we had. So the people that are making physical based games like card games or board games, we even had like a little showcase for them and connected those people together. So yeah. And even virtual reality, we had a specific expo for that. So there are people using Oculus Rift and other peripherals, and they all got connected together. So these other branches all had some connection path.
And for the non-gamers, you might want to explain what Oculus Rift is.
Sorry, so the Oculus Rift is this head-mounted display, and when you put it on, you're magically transported to some other place. It was purchased for $2 billion by Facebook, and they view that as the next, big thing in gaming and your experience.
So last night at Growth Hackers Meetup, they were talking a lot about how large the simulation industry is in Orlando. Have you thought about putting together maybe a mentorship between people in simulation, which is a very well-established industry here, and kids in gaming? I would think if you married those two together, you'd create jobs, you'd create opportunities, you'd help based on what you've said.
Yeah, I don't think I think that we could benefit, from combining a lot of the skill sets and tools that we use is the same. So, artists, programmers, all those kind of things, the tools that we use are the same. It's just that modeling and simulation sometimes is just not fun. So, they're games without the fun, but it's the same tool set. So there's, benefits in that. We have people from simulation that come to our events.
And if you want to keep those people with those skill sets in the area, then
that's the number one thing. We don't want to see people move off to San Francisco or Seattle just cause. And we did see that. And then slowly now we've seen people say, you know what, we're sticking around because we see this happening. So we've held on to people.
So I'm just this line of questioning is really about trying to relate, what you guys do and your enthusiasm to the rest of the community, right?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of people are interested in the economic impact. So just to not use that specific example, but you mentioned the success story of a guy who spent like 2 to 3 years developing a game, then deployed it. Like what's the payback on 2 to 3 years of time invested? Like don't give me his number, but give me an example. How much can I expect to actually get in money for developing a game for 3 years?
It can vary. I mean, it could, you could make millions per day. And in fact, there actually were some people who left Orlando. They left Orlando and they went to another city. They joined another company. A lot of people from Orlando are employed at that company, and they bring in $5 million per day. And we also know that they flew back to Orlando to have special design meetings, secret ones, because they didn't have the talent in that region. So they utilized the talent here in Orlando, flew back, and continue to make $5 million per day. So, you can make a lot of money. And even then, some games can make $10,000 per day, and that's a lot of money. The game industry is a $100 billion industry. So there is we think that a slice of that could stay here in Orlando because we're already training the people that go into that.
I mean, if you chop out like PlayStation and Xbox, right? Like the major game studios, how much is left for that small game market? Do you guys have any data on that?
I mean, it's not just mobile. It's console as well that's been done here.
I mean, just like the big studios, right? Your EAs and whatnot. If you take those out of the equation, for the small studios, how big is that pie of the $100 billion?
I don't have a percentage for you, but it's significant. And the figure that I gave to you, there are mobile games actually, smaller games that are making that much money.
Actually, I just have a quick question for you. I know that there's a dramatic been a decrease of women in computer science, and and women are becoming, I think, more savvy with games. Are you guys ever reached out to try to encourage? I'm asking 3 guys this, to encourage more women in the gaming community. Maybe we had the Women's Entrepreneur Center here a couple weeks ago. Have you ever tried reaching out to them to try to?
Not specifically, and I guess just naturally we see more and more women at our meetups, and on our board is Krista, and she's a woman, and she's in the industry. But we have seen like more and more that just naturally are there, and even at the Space Jam we saw a lot. We saw women like in all different fields, in computer science, and art too.
Just to tack on to that, we have really been focusing on children as well, and kind of training the kind of next generation of game developers. And so we've really been focusing on that on our meetups, making it very family friendly and welcoming families to the events. And for the expo this Saturday, we're planning a workshop that we really want to be able to kind of have, again, the next generation get hands-on and really learn what game development is all about.
Yeah, we actually have a school district that's bringing kids on a field trip to the Indienomicon Expo, just because they saw it as an opportunity for STEM inspiration from game developers. So that's going to happen.
Cool, thanks.
Okay. Number one, I like the family-friendly component to it, and Josh was hitting what my big question was, and heading in the direction of how are you monetizing this? How are you? Because you're standing on a platform that's supposed to be for businesses that are scalable and national in scope, and a lot of times visionaries don't give themselves permission to really say what it is. And if you have a vision and it's anything short of global, it's just a seed of the dream, what are you willing to permit yourself to release right now unto us as the total vision?
The total vision is definitely to foster growth of game studios that are producing, games that create revenue and income. It creates more jobs, high-paying jobs, It brings that local economic impact. There's a city named Montreal. It's very big in the gaming industry, and about 12 years ago, they were about the size of Orlando. They were about 1,000 people in the game industry there. Today, they have 15,000 people. They have grown significantly. And it was because they had a community that was forming. They had ultimately then buy-in from the government that said, wow, you guys are actually growing. You're engineers. This is actually very impactful. And now, a grandmother walking down the street knows that there's a game industry in Montreal. And there is a lot of money that's being made there. And I think here in Orlando, we have all the building blocks to have that same kind of ecosystem. So we want to hold on to the talent here. There's a constant flow of them coming from our schools. We want more studios to form, releasing more products that are producing revenue and keeping all of it here. Yeah.
Have you been working with the EDC locally? I know that they were pretty influential in getting all these gaming schools to open here a few years back with UCF, and where the old arena was, they had turned that into a gaming or computer center. Are you working with them to try to do that and maybe get some government funding to push a little bit?
I mean, we stay in touch with them. We kind of let them know what's going on. But we can't always rely on them to make that first step. We always kind of see government as like this, maybe third step. You can take your initial step to form your community, to gather up funds amongst yourselves, amongst the business, private community, get things going. And then the government will step in when they see a lot of action happening. So we keep them apprised of what's going on. But we're not relying on that to drive all of this. A lot of this is grassroots, which is kind of the indie route. By any means necessary, some way, somehow, we're going to make it happen. And then thus far, that's been pushing us.
Any other questions? So we have one for you as 1 Million Cups organizers. What can we, and you've had a few asks, but what can we right now today do to help you amplify your message and continue to grow and achieve what your goals and aspirations are?
I think right now today, just getting the word out about Indienomicon and letting people know about the expo that's coming up this Saturday at the Melrose Center, that's really key. And then, as Kunal said, we do have a Patreon if you want to provide monetary support, but right now really we're about the community and we're about growing that community. So spreading the word and getting it out to maybe people who weren't aware of this independent game development community, that's really key for us right now.
Wonderful. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
So again, this is what I love about 1 Million Cups, because you discover things all the time about the community that you may have not been aware of. How many of you knew about this before coming here? Or how many didn't know? Raise your hands. This is the first time you heard about this. So that's really cool. I can tell you the first time that Kunal invited me to come to one of his meetups, I just stood there completely surprised. There were over 100 people, and that was a year ago, at the Melrose Center. And I just wait, in Orlando, people are showing up in that number. People need to know more about it, and that what you guys have accomplished is really tremendous. So thank you. Real quickly, if you want to refill, now's the time to do it. Go grab a cup of coffee and come back and listen to our next presenter. Quick shout out to our sponsors. We couldn't do that. Well, we couldn't be here without them today. So right there, sitting in the corner, Josh, who asked a bunch of tough questions. Raise your hand, Josh. Raise your hand, Josh. Josh is our landlord. He's with Rollins. Thank you. And he's organizing for us also free parking. So if you've parked in the big structure, in the big parking lot, which I hope you did, there are free parking vouchers on the table, so please grab that. Right next to that, you'll see some business cards that are the 1 Million Cups business cards. So please grab those and share them with your friends and community. Encourage them to come in and participate in future 1 Million Cups. So that would be phenomenal. And last but not least, he just left. He's going to come back. I'll wait until he comes back. Oh, all right. So we have Joycaster that is faithfully live streaming our event or joycasting our event on a weekly basis. So again, he volunteers, he comes in and leaves the startup and helps us put this out on the web and helps us record this and move that forward. And obviously, the delicious free coffee you guys are enjoying is courtesy of Barney's. So do me a favor, give a shout out to our sponsors on social media, whatever preferred channel you guys have, and don't forget to tag your organizers as well and 1 million cups in the process, so that way everybody knows what's going on in Orlando. Guys, if you can grab your coffee and come on back so we can get the next presenter going. Come on.
My name is Rinat Halon. I'm a photography communication specialist. I create personalized image banks for companies. Now that's a mouthful, right? What does that mean? That means that I know how to create a photograph that tells a story. It means that I know how to capture the essence in one shot. It means that I know how to create a photograph that works. What it also means is that if I'm successful in this revolution, then we're not going to see anymore on 42 million websites this picture of the kid with the painted hands, because this picture doesn't tell a story, this picture doesn't capture the essence, and it doesn't work. It's just a placeholder. In the past 3 years, us, the human race, have created 90% of the content that has ever been created since the beginning of mankind. That's unbelievable, right? It's actually very believable when you think about it, because we're all photographers. I know you're all photographers. I know you all brought your cameras today. If you have your smartphones, you got your cameras, pull them out. Pull your cameras out. Take great pictures of this so we can post them later. So you're all photographers. So why don't your photographs work? What are they missing? Value. Your photographs are missing value. A photograph has to connect emotionally. It has to intrigue, and it has to create a call to action. Otherwise, it just doesn't work. And this is what I want to teach you today. I want to teach you how I'm doing this. I want to train others in how to capture a brand, a personality, and a story all in one shot. And most people don't know how to do that. Case in point, kid with the painted hands on 5 billion websites. Because small and medium-sized companies need something to put on their website, and he's cute, and it's kind of relevant, so I'll use it. But it doesn't work. Small and medium-sized companies don't have the advertising budget that the big companies have. However, they all have a story. They all have a story on why they started the business and what it is that they do. And this story needs to be translated into visuals, into photographs, and be posted on their websites, because today that is the first place where a potential client is going to meet them and hopefully connect, right? That's what we want. I want to share with you what I believe to be are the 3 biggest mistakes made today in terms of photography communication on small and medium-sized companies' websites. Mistake number 1, confusing photographic message. In the picture on the bottom, it's a small town lawyer. In the picture on the top, it's a big city lawyer. Which one are you? Small town, big city? I'm confused. Mistake number 2, irrelevant photographs. This one is fun. Let's go through it together. Why is there a screaming woman on the website? What does the green leaf have to do with anything? What is that a picture of right there next to the green leaf? What is that? Why is there a fat man in my bathtub? And did the truck bring it there? Irrelevant photographs. I have no idea what this is for. Mistake number 3, TMI. Too much photographic information. I don't know where to start here. No, I seriously don't know where to start here. I have no idea what this website's for. Who is this woman? Is she giving away a house? Is she getting Botox? I don't know what's going on here. FYI, this website is for inner balance. So, with that said, these are what I believe to be the 3 biggest mistakes made today in terms of photography communication. And here is how I intend to fix it. I intend to fix it by teaching others how to create a relevant, precise, call to action, storytelling photograph that works. And by starting here in the local market in Orlando and creating a buzz and connecting with local organizations and photography schools, I want to make it available worldwide. So we will never again see this on every other website, including one of Ron's that used it for one of his clients' websites. How do you capture a brand, a personality, and a story all in one shot? Here's how. I photographed this in Israel, and if you're an Israeli, this would resonate with you instantaneously. This guy was the CEO of one of the largest development properties in Israel, and he asked me for a headshot. And he said, do what you want. So this is what I did. And I don't have time right now. I can get into it later. I had a high-tech company that came up to me and said they needed a group photo and said, do what you want. So this is what I did. I guarantee you no other high-tech company has the same group photo on their website. And it does tell some of their story, and I know you're intrigued to know more. Here's how you can help me. You can help me today, first of all, by sharing and liking my Facebook, my Pinterest, my Instagram, and my website. Secondly, please send my way small and medium-sized companies that are in dire need of a personalized image bank, and I know you'll know at least one. And thirdly, because this is not all about Rinat traveling worldwide creating personalized image banks for companies, even though I'd be happy to do that, I need your help in finding a place to host a workshop, a personalized image bank workshop. I'm offering to give the startup community a free workshop on how to create your own personalized image bank. I want to teach you how to do it, and I need a place to host it. I want to teach you what you need to know before you ever click the shutter on that great tool that you have, the camera, so you can capture pictures like this. So if you can help me find a place, I can help you add value to your photographs and make them work. So let's start this revolution together. Thank you very much.